Welcome to Season 3 of You Are Your Name. In this season, we're asking a vocabulary name consultant various questions on balanced names. Our guest today is Doria Delane, one of the name consultants at the Society of Vocabularians. Thank you for being with us, Doria.
Thank you, Dakin. It's a pleasure.
So our question for you today is, can I change the spelling of my existing names to balance them?
We really appreciate how an individual may feel when they first hear about a name change. And the natural response is to want to retain their names. And in some cases, that may be possible. If a name has a natural balance, then of course we wouldn't tell a person that they would have to change. We explain the impact of their name and how it's affected their life. And there may be some tweaking in the name that needs to be done, just a minor change. Sometimes individuals have a balanced name, but their business signature is incorrect, the way they're signing. So sometimes we can give options that way. But if a person wants a true fulfillment in their life, and their surname or their first name is not fully balanced, but one is, say, the surname may be stronger than the first name, sometimes a person can retain their current name, and it's just a slight change of spelling. So it really depends on the circumstances, but we have to base it on what is creating the best harmony between the first name, the surname, possibly a middle name, and a business signature. And how does that relate to one's month, day, and year of birth? Because that is the true natural potential that has to flow through one's energies and one's thought pattern, one's mind. And so generally, many people have names that are not in harmony with their potential. Because how are names given? Yes, you respect your family. Parents like to give a name maybe of some relative because they respect that person. But does that really based upon what their newborn or their own family members' potential is? If you don't understand what that is, how can you give a name that's going to bring out the natural flow, natural harmony, natural expression for their potential? So generally, a person would require a balanced name change. But we do look at full options depending upon a person's needs.
So can I balance my names without changing my surname?
Well, that would depend on what the mathematical qualities are of the surname. The purpose for changing your surname is if the name is not in harmony with your potential and the first name. So if the surname is not the correct mathematical balance for you to allow a balanced first name, then an individual would have to change their surname.
But they could possibly make a small change in how it's spelt.
That's correct, yes. And that is an option that we do consider for an individual if they really feel they can't change, or if it's obvious that the change is so slight, then yes, we do make that recommendation.
I imagine it happens where maybe someone's divorced and they can't get the permission of the other spouse to change the surname. But I understand sometimes you can suggest a hyphenated surname so that way the other spouse still retains their name, but it gives you the overall balance.
That's a good point, Dakin, and we have done that. Yeah, absolutely. We have been able to make that recommendation. And sometimes if a person actually cannot change their surname, we give a secondary option. But that's only under circumstances that we can give a balanced first name. It's not a common plan, but it has been recommended when there is a specific need.
And perhaps if they have a first name and there's a version of that first name that's balanced, they could consider that if it's a combination that they were recommended to have.
Yes, that has been suggested, absolutely.
But I do know there are a lot of people that do that at the beginning and then later on come back and make a complete change. So maybe you can comment about that. Why would they do that?
Well, sometimes when you retain such a similarity to your current name, your mind tends to go to the past of what you were like or what you responded to. And sometimes it can be more challenging to make the change if you don't make a full change. So we try to comply to support a person, to educate them, first of all, on the basis of why the name is so important to change, but secondly, how the vibration influences us. But if we accept the new change and a person establishes it and moves forward with it, consistently working with it, that is a balanced combination. But as you said, sometimes later a person will study the principles and learn more, and they realize perhaps they're holding on to something. And the way it's connected is because they hear it. And so they link their minds to the past. But it's not the sound that creates the vibration of the name. It actually is the symbols of the letters in the name. It's like that notes on a piano, whatever keys you press, that's the vibration that you hear. So if you have a name, when you say your name and it's a balanced name, it has a new vibration. But it is true, one has to think seriously about that change if you want to have that freedom from the link of the sound to the past.
I guess some people will try to balance their existing names by a small letter change here and there to create less issues with friends and family. But the point being is that if they make a complete change, it's a much more definite change. And so there's no link to the past names. You're basically going forward with a new balanced vibration. Thank you, Dory. I appreciate that. That's clear enough. In our next episode, we're going to discuss the question, what about middle names? Should I retain or change my middle name once I balance my first and last names? Stay tuned for that next week. If you have not already done so, get your own free name report from our website at www.kabelarians.com. That's KABALARIANS.com. Once you have a name report, you can speak with a Kabelarian name consultant directly and get answers to your specific questions on your names and how they're impacting your life. The contact information is in the report. Until next time, happy thoughts. Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. Number 1, the Balanced Name Recommendation Service. Join the thousands of others who have harmonized their names with their inner potential to improve their health, happiness, and success. Number 2, learn the principles of mental freedom. Participate in our online training program to gain the essential tools to create all the progressive changes you seek in your life. These proven truths will open up new perspectives and accelerate your attainment of health, happiness, and success. Number 3, let Kalex Solutions help you choose a balanced name for your business, because many business names are an impediment to one's overall business success.